Half a day, I'm Amanda Dedicatoria, and we're here with Senator James Moylan for Coffee with the Candidates. So how are you doing, Senator?
Oh, great, Amanda, thank you. And thank you for the invitation.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. So, looking back to your current term, what are some things that you think you could have done better, and what are some issues or initiatives that you'll push for if reelected?
Oh, good question. Of course, we always wanted to do better, and that's one reason I'm running again for the 36th. I've learned a lot from the 35th, but one of the things I could have done better, well, I hit the ground running, and right away we introduced a few bills on day one when we swore in, and it was on the economy. We focused on the economy and the BBT and different issues to help small businesses. How I think I could have done better? Well, if I had the opportunity to make those bills pass into law. We did get great public hearings on those bills, and we had a large public input, especially with the BBT reduction, but it didn't go much further after that. So I want to reintroduce those bills in the 36th Guam legislature, and that's how to make things work better, is to come back and continue the fight again. So I will continue to help small businesses and help our economy grow. And by doing so, of course, that all funnels down to the consumers and making it better for us. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to the next election.
Mm-hmm. Of course, and I know that you've been a very strong advocate for bolstering the island's economy. How will you advocate for better management of government funds so that Guam doesn't experience another threat of government shutdowns and mass layoffs?
Okay, well, this is an experience for us with COVID-19. Right? The pandemic has drawn out our budget or our economy to its breaking point. We are fortunate that we had the federal funds through the CARES Act that has helped us with PUA and other forms of assistance for small businesses with the assistance for employees' salary. We had to look at this, and it's very important that we see our economy was focused on tourism. And we saw how down in Tumon, here we are down in Tumon, where these hotels are vacant and we're wondering which ones will reopen or not. How our economy needs to grow and flourish is one, which is my point, is helping the small businesses, of course, and to come back and those that are still here to keep their doors open. How do we do that is by reducing taxes to make it attractive for them and so they can hire people. Also, we need to diversify our economy. We introduced a couple of measures that did have some public hearings but did not go any further. One was the drone industry and also flight simulators as well. And then the other was a distribution center and fulfillment centers where Guam could be a hub for these companies in Asia to focus here beyond Guam on U.S. soil and do the distribution here to create jobs for the island. How do we do that? How do we get them here? Is by attracting them with incentives like qualifying certificates and so forth. So we have, my office has a lot of great ideas that we want to move forward to rebuild our economy. And right now we are, I believe, in a state that I don't want to be in ever again. But as the 36th Guam legislature, if re-elected, that's my fight. How are we going to build this economy? And we have measures to do that, as I explained. And by building up the economy with businesses, they're the ones that pay the general fund. They're the ones that pay the employee, the taxes, the payroll taxes, the BBTs, and so forth. And we need to support them. And I want to do that as coming back as the 36th Guam legislature.
Awesome. So I know that there have been some concerns from some members of the community about the island experiencing a brain drain where our skilled and talented and educated people kind of move from Guam because to seek, I guess, a better economic future. What can be done by our government to address the rising cost of living on Guam and to keep these skilled people here?
Excellent question. And yes, we need the skilled labor force. Our young generation, of course, and I was one of them. I went off a little bit off island to get my education in the States, but I came back home and I came back home, there was a job interest, right? But how do we get these folks to come back instead of a brain drain, looking for a better life elsewhere instead of a better life at home? That's by bringing, I believe, new industries into the island. Like the drones, where you'll need skilled labor forces, like fulfillment centers as another example. But also for, in addition to industries, but to allow those entrepreneurs that, they went through college, for example, or just you graduated high school and I have a great idea to start my own business. Let's not make it as a government so difficult for them to want to do that. Let's not put the burden on folks that are entrepreneurs, that want to start a business, a small service business, open up a restaurant, whether it be detailing vehicles or whether it be an auto mechanic shop or something. But there are a lot of people that want to strive and want to make a good living for themselves and want to build their business. We know of family businesses on Guam that have done great. We know of many folks that have come from other countries to come to Guam to start a business. Why not allow those that have that drive to do that here? And how do we do that? We get rid of the red tape. We keep things simple, and we keep the taxes low so that they can open up their businesses. So two things to keep those folks here instead of having the brain drain. Let's bring in new industries, as I mentioned, with a couple of measures we've done. And two, let's allow those that want to start their own business, make it simpler for them and not make it so taxing on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that would help us.
And what kind of resources that are already available on the island would you use? Would you partner with the university or create like training centers or anything like that?
The new industries would require skilled labor. For example, the drones or the flight simulators or the fulfillment centers, right? And even we see our telecommunications here, they require skilled labor. And Department of Labor is one department that is really helpful in doing that. And they have a lot of great programs that will help the businesses, like the telecommunications, on tax credits, and also paying for these new labor forces to learn the skill. And so that's there for us now. And also the University of Guam, in their budget as they propose, they have showed the senators how much money they generate by educating the students, and how much these students with their education are able to go into the workforce and generate more income, which goes back to our general fund in the form of taxes. So the education part on the island is there, and we want to continue that, right? So where are they going to work is what I go back to, and that's why the economy is important. It's the businesses that the government has to show that we want to welcome these businesses to come in, because we want the business to hire our new students and not have the brain drain, what we were just talking about. But if those jobs are not there, no matter how good we educate our students, where are they going to work, right? Yes, we do need just as many as skilled, educated new students and new employees in our government. But who pays our government? It's the taxes. Who generates the taxes? It's the businesses, like this company here, like this building we're in. We're paying property tax, we're paying employee tax, we're paying BBT tax. So let's help the businesses grow so we can keep our kids here that want to work and live on Guam.
Awesome. So, I mean, in retrospect, we're kind of coming down from the ongoing pandemic. How do you think Guam could have better handled the economic crisis resulting from the pandemic?
So when the state of the health emergency came and the governor declared that, we implemented Title 10, Chapter 19. And that law was in place over 20-some years ago, but it was never implemented. And now we're experiencing. Of course, we know our government is doing the best they can, and we're learning from those experiences, and we're tweaking things to make it better. How we can make it better, from my experience, is the transparency. In that Chapter 19, there is no reference to transparency. There's no reporting requirements. Basically, we're entrusting Adelup to take charge and run with it in order to help and identify how we can improve the health of the people of Guam. And that's important. But what we're also seeing is that because of the lack of transparency in the law, it creates some questionable thinking, right? So I've already introduced a measure to correct that, to allow the transparency to be part of that public law. Unfortunately, it hasn't moved forward. But that's why I want to come back in the 36th Guam legislature, because we don't know what's going to happen next time. I'm sure we're going to overcome the COVID-19, but there's going to be something else. So these are the things where we can see where we can improve. We can tweak it a little better, and we can learn from our experience so we can get through this much faster.
Awesome. And so why is accountability so important?
It's very good question, right? The people, I believe, had the right to know. And why do they deserve that? Well, they elect the officials like myself. But it's also taxpayers' money. And who are the taxpayers? It's the employees, right? And it's also the businesses. So we want to trust, and we want to trust our leadership, and we want to know where our money is being spent. And if we can justify that as government officials, then be transparent about that. And then you can have the community behind you. If the community doesn't feel like, really, is this where you want to prioritize your budget and your expenses? You know, I'm not too confident about that. So make me confident, make the public confident, and that's through transparency. Not telling us after the fact, but telling us how it's happening, telling us the step by step. Be transparent and show us why. Explain why we condemned this building, explain why we collected these items, explain why we used so much expenses on this, so we can understand, and then we can support that, and we can have belief and trust in our government. Without that, then we create doubt. So when I'm coming back as a 36th Guam legislature, I want it to be as transparent as possible. And I think dealing with the media is very transparent. And I'm sure you'll drill me if you don't like my answers either.
Well, thank you so much, Senator, for your time. And that's all we have for this segment of Coffee with the Candidates. Please stay tuned for more.